Welcome back, everybody, to another fun-filled episode of Undressed with me, Paul, and my husband, Patrick, and little Snow White 90210. And we've got a special surprise for you today.
Yes, we do, Undressed bitches. I'm really excited. We've got a style icon in the house.
An
and I have
icon.
to say that because he really is a style icon.
He's beautiful.
He is the owner of Mr. Warburton magazine.
He's
and
hot.
Just launched a new magazine called Guru's Magazine.
Gorgeous.
Was a fashion stylist, worked with Beyonce. Worked
Everybody.
With Annalyn McCord. We have two.
Everybody.
Let's just introduce Mr. Derek Warburton, our friend. Amazing. Welcome to Pol Atteu, babe.
Hi.
We have a studio audience full of
I
people
know, I
here for
love
you
that.
today.
Oh my gosh, right? Exactly. Two guys in the corner saying fuck off.
Well, hey, that's the best kind of studio audience you want to
yeah,
have.
I know exactly.
But, Derek, our crew is hot, right? Because we only hire
Yes,
pretty people.
only hotties, especially the dog.
I know, little Snow
Snow
White.
So cute. Oh my god.
I know. You were saying you have a multiple.
I have a multi-poo named Ollie who is famous
Ollie?
because he's been on the cover of Guru's magazine.
Oh,
I know,
well,
it's so
nepotism.
funny.
Talk about
Oh,
nepotism.
exactly, with his vet.
Oh,
Trying to get a discount, you know.
You know what?
I'm always trying.
What about-
honey? It's always the hustle. It's
what
always the
about
hustle.
what about Snow White? She wants to be on the cover.
That's coming.
Pride?
That's
Oh.
coming. There you go.
Okay.
Pride.
we're
Don't
gonna have to
forget
put her
about
on.
Pride. I know. I'm hustling 30. I got 30 covers to do this year. My God, it's like
Tell me about that,
got-
because you want to do. Because you came up with a campaign, and that's what
yes,
Yes,
And you
for
know-
Guru's magazine, correct?
Yes. So Guru's magazine, I started a couple years ago with Anne Heche,
Yep.
and we had done a shoot very, very, very early on.
Okay.
Because I was just conceptualizing everything,
Yep.
and as you know from my Oscar retreat last week, and
Which was fabulous, by the way.
thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having
Thank
us.
you. The reviews were phenomenal. The media was phenomenal.
Especially
And
the
just-
guy that would kept dunking himself into water all half
wasn't that fun?
naked.
Thank you.
And
I-
pouring water all over his little ass.
Paul, you
and
are so
body.
mean. That poor guy had his robe on. He was
was
done.
freezing.
And then
He
Paul
was
goes up to him. He
freezing.
goes, "You have such a great body. Wait, are you going to do a cold plunge for us?"
No, I thought I
Made
was
him take
gonna
his
do
clothes
it.
off and do it again after he was done.
No, I thought I was going to do it. I said, do I disrobe here? Do you want to
my
help
gosh,
me?
no.
He said, no, I'm going to do it. I said, he goes, I was done, but for you.
Oh my gosh.
And he came back after he was dressed, and he goes,
He was hot.
do I look
Yes.
just as
Yeah.
good in clothes that I
Oh
do
my gosh, that's
outside
incredible.
clothes?
Yes.
I said, that's a dinner conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Or after dinner, actually.
Yes.
More, yeah.
Back to
dessert.
Guru. Sorry
Dessert.
about that.
No. It's fine. It's all Guru's related.
Yeah.
No, we had done the shoot, and it was at her home, and you know, I just always have these ideas, and I make ideas happen.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest talent is really follow through. You know, because I'm like, we'll do it. We'll just make it. And I'm so lucky that I have the most incredible group of people around me that believe in the ideas.
Sure.
Which is, you know, it takes a village.
Your village is,
And can I
is
say
a
that's a
strong
testament?
village.
That's a testament to you, because so many people say they're going to make things happen, they don't make shit happen. So I
Oh,
love,
no.
like with us, with Paul and I, if we say we're going to do something, we do it 100%.
I call them Starbucks.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
hang out at Starbucks and talk all day.
Oh, right.
But none of them get off their ass to
Right.
make it
Yeah.
happen.
No.
Yes.
You know,
I don't have time to talk about it. I just got to do it.
You know, for me and for most entrepreneurs, we all know this, that
Yeah.
when we set out, you know, most of us become entrepreneurs because no one gives us opportunities. And that's, you know,
Or don't believe in us.
Oh, exactly, you know, or we're too, you know, I always say don't be the best, be the only.
I like that.
Because I'm the only.
Right.
There's no one like me. There's no one like you. And so, you know, when
You said that right.
I know exactly. Hold on now. Hold on now.
Yeah,
hold
honey.
on now,
Paul
honey.
is tossing his hair if you're not watching.
I
you're
know,
just
hold on
listening.
now. And so when you're like that, you
Yeah.
have to make your own opportunities.
Of course.
And again, I'm so blessed with the most incredible community that believes in the work I do.
Yeah.
But I have the track record because I constantly am putting out incredible work, telling beautiful, incredible stories of
Right.
other people.
Yes.
Sure.
You know, and that's really
But they're
important
genuine.
to me.
They're authentic. They're organically curated. And people
100%.
trust you.
So
Thank
how did you
you.
come up with the Guru's magazine idea?
So I came up with it because, number one, I work with a plastic surgeon here in Beverly Hills named Dr. Michael Newman. And I kept being like, what is something that you believe in?
Yeah.
What is a name that you could really get behind. And I was like, well, you know, and you're going through, you know, you're just brainstorming. And I was like, you believe in gurus.
Yeah.
I believe in a guru. Like,
Sure.
who is your guru, basically?
guru?
And so
Yeah.
that was kind of the initial idea. And then when, you know, I was at Anne's home, we're about to shoot, we're just talking about where do you want this to go? And then she turned to me and said, give me 3 words
Okay.
that you need me to be for who you want to be now.
Okay.
And I said, truth, passion, and authenticity, because that's what you stand for.
I love that.
Wow.
And that's our moniker today. That's our mission statement. That's everywhere you look. Even on the covers, it's written surrounding the
Yeah.
body.
Was Anne your first cover?
Yes, and Peter Facinelli, who I adore, and he introduced me to her.
Okay.
Oh, very sweet.
Yeah, I met her at a
that.
restaurant really briefly, which was so bizarre.
Yeah.
And then
Stalk her much?
no, but what's so funny about that? Literally, I was sitting there with a friend, and I go sideways, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Is your name Anne? My friend Peter just directed you." And she was like, "You're kidding." And we start chatting.
Yep.
And then the guy with her says, I'm in the fucking movie too. And it's Thomas Jane.
That's funny.
And it was their movie during COVID that was #2 on Netflix.
Okay.
And right in the beginning of COVID.
Yep.
And
Derek, can I say that happens to me all the time when they come up to me and they say, "Oh, are you that Pol Atteu? Are you in the show Gown and Out in Beverly Hills with that little bitch Snow White 90210?"
This is true, but we are also in the show Emergence 2028, and babe, you didn't make it on the poster today.
I didn't make.
Oh
the
my
post.
God.
Do you
But-
see?
but
Do you see how
you
I have
know-
to bring?
with
But
Eric
you know who made it
Roberts.
on the poster?
Do you see how I have to bring it back?
Guess
to
who made
that?
it on the poster? I made
Those
it on
two
the
bitches.
poster.
Well done. Well done.
It's Snow White.
Oh my God.
You see, nobody recognizes me.
Okay, well
Derek,
let's bring it back
awful.
again. Well, let's bring it back again because we are in the store that you and I
Yes,
shot
yes.
a movie,
Yes.
another movie that also
Sarogeto,
Eric
Sar-
Roberts is in.
Yes.
That we did
Yes.
together too, which is insane. How
Yeah.
how small
You
the world
played.
is.
You played me.
Yes, I did play you.
Basically, I was your
That
assistant.
was very tough casting.
You
You
played.
and you played my assistant.
And
It
I
was
played-
so
But I played him.
hilarious to
Yeah.
me when they told me that Paul was playing your assistant. I'm like,
in my own store.
in his own
I'm
store.
like,
I'm like,
okay.
Oh my
how do we do
God.
I'm
that?
such a good actor.
Yeah, you were
I'm
so good.
such a
It
good
was so
actor.
difficult. I was cracking up. I was like, wait, isn't it his store? He's like, yeah. And I go, but I'm playing the guy whose store we're in? Yeah. I was like, okay, fine.
But you're the lead in the movie. I'm
not a
just
lead.
the assistant.
Oh my God. No, hardly. Whatever. No,
That's
I'm in a couple
hilarious.
of scenes, but you know, it was a great experience.
What a great
and it
story.
brought other things. I have a new movie coming out too with another director that I met at the premiere of that movie.
Okay.
I know, funny enough, with Tom Sizemore's literal last film.
Oh, wow.
And I did scenes with him, and then Andy Dick is in that film too.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, talk about
What's the
Mr.
film
Dick.
called?
Good question.
You don't know, you don't know the name yet? Okay, got it.
There's a working title.
Okay, got it. Well, okay.
Mr. Dick.
It just took a little. It's taking a little time. It's you know everyone was like, "Are you really doing this movie?" Because it's a movie about a homeless man, and he's protecting children from sex trafficking,
Okay.
and I'm a trafficker.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Well,
could
in the
see
show,
it.
Well, in the show Emergence, I play a gay arms dealer.
It's what he
Wow.
does. It's what he does all day at the store.
Oh my
deal
god!
arms.
He's pushing Armenian cocaine down
Oh my
everybody's
God.
throat.
Oh,
So it's
jeez.
like
And on
this-
that note, you can get your Armenian coffee reading at polatteu.com. Book your reading.
book your
Oh
reading.
my gosh! Where's your? You need a turban or something.
That's
Honey.
what he said.
We don't
you
cover
make turbans here.
we don't cover the hair that Dr. V worked so hard
Oh
to
my
put
gosh.
together.
But
Oh my
Derek,
God.
I'm excited for you because he's going to read your coffee cup today.
Oh, I love
which
that.
Is going to
Oh,
be
good. It better be good. It
amazing.
better be good, or I'm not coming back.
No, it's going to be really cool.
Take more sips.
Very, very
Oh, okay.
cool.
You're like you're
Yeah.
gonna. You're gonna
You
drink
need
it
to
all.
be wired, my friend. You know how this works.
So talking about Anne Heche, I want to get back to
Yes.
her because there's a lot of similarities in your story with Anne Heche and ours with Anne and Nicole Smith. Because when Anna died, and the same thing with Anne Heche, all people were talking about was the drug abuse. She's crazy. She's this. She's that. And when Anne and Nicole died, that's all they talked about. She's on drugs. There's a drug overdose. This, that, whatever. They didn't understand the human side of Anne and Nicole. That she lost her son. She was in postpartum depression. She couldn't.
She just had a baby.
Yeah, she had a baby. She
Right.
couldn't get out of
She
bed.
was in a different country.
And then you've got every finger in the world pointing at you saying, you know, you're a horrible mother because you haven't buried your son in 30 days or whatever. And then when Anne had her accident, there was no really humanity for her. It was really horrific. And I
Yes.
compare that to the same thing with Anne and Nicole.
I mean,
How did you deal with that?
instead of mourning for someone's death, that just an accident that, you know, who knew to expect such a horrific
Right.
Yeah, you know.
final moment.
So, to be frank,
Yeah.
when I got the call, it was about maybe 2 hours or an hour later. Her podcast partner and best friend, but really her best friend, Heather, who you know, and Heather Duffy, who is still my
Very
human.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're family. She was there the same day you were there
Yeah.
at the Oscar suite. She was racing to help her Anne's youngest son.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got the call, ran to the hospital, and I was there waiting. And then by the time she got there, we waited 6 hours to get any kind of
Figure
answers,
things
and we
out.
couldn't get any answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was so scary is that nothing was declared, so we didn't know really.
Yeah.
I had my own feelings, but you know, how are you surviving that? You know,
Sure.
Sure.
and
And as the clock ticks, your anxiety level is
of
heightened.
course, like what are you going to do?
Everything's magnified. Your phone's
Right.
blowing up.
Yes.
The TV's going crazy.
Yes.
And she was such a hugely famous person,
Yeah.
Right.
as Anna Nicole was, that
Right.
everybody wants to talk to the best friends and wants to know, and you're trying
The intimacy.
to protect her integrity and her, you know, and you want to tell the real human side of her.
Right.
And everyone say, oh, she was a drug addict. She's this, she's that. And so,
Well,
how do you deal with
just
that?
to clear that up, though, they
Yeah.
found that there was no alcohol nor
the
drugs
system.
in her system
I remember
that
that.
were, you know, so there was none of that was true
Right.
in the end.
But in the beginning, when they announced it, that's all people remember.
Well, of course,
Which
because
is horrible.
because they have preconceived ideas of what she was, and that's not
Exactly.
necessarily true, you know.
Right.
And so, you know, and for the record, I saw nothing. Listen, we had fun.
Yeah.
But I've never done a drug in my life
Yeah.
except drink. And
Well, you just did some now.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you
right,
can-
exactly. Oh, I did the.
Coffee.
I know. Oh, we're swirling grounds. You know, we're swirling grounds.
Yeah.
Don't forget to check it out online.
Yes.
Book your reading.
PolAtteu.com.
Call me now. Call me now. So I didn't. You know, all of that was all conceived ideas,
Yeah.
and they were just making up their own narratives. But
Sure.
I get it. You know what people don't understand is the news is a business.
Yeah.
It's
course.
ratings. This is not, you know,
course.
this is not a non-for-profit here.
Right.
That, oh, let's go do investigative journalism. Another thing is that a lot of the journalism that came out was copied from somebody else.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have hard facts themselves. And, you know, I had a lot of calls because I'm in media.
Sure.
I know these people.
Right.
And they were calling me and they're like, just so you know, this is coming. This is coming. And I was like, why don't you ask me questions? But somebody that everyone in the business knows had called, and I love him.
Yeah.
But he was telling me all this stuff, and I was like, did you even watch a video?
Are we talking about Harvey Levin?
No, but a similar type person, and more insider.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, did you watch a video at all?
Yeah.
No.
Like, do you have any
And
idea
I was
about
like,
what you're
so
throwing
how are
at
you
me?
calling me, asking me these questions if you don't even know?
What's
Because you
going on?
didn't know anything about the security guards that came over to her over here. And,
Right.
you know, you don't know anything. So you can't be calling me trying to prod. And I was like, ask me the right questions.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I
Sure.
mean, we know, like with the wig,
Yeah.
that was a whole thing. And I was like, just ask.
Yep.
Like, we know what the wig was about, but it's not relevant to the story
Yeah.
of what really happened. You know
Right.
what I mean? And,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of things that didn't come out about it, and they shouldn't. It's just let it lie, you know? And
Yeah.
frankly, my biggest concern was, are her children
The
protected?
children,
Right.
the family.
Her
Yes.
family, you know, I was terrified for them. And
Sure.
what a lot of people didn't know, especially inside, was that, you know, my first phone call was to our friend Jolie Fisher.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because I was scared, like, and I did this on my own, and maybe it was inappropriate, but I was in so much pain at the time, like we just didn't know, and I was like,
right.
is her insurance gonna be okay? Like
Who
I was,
do you,
Yeah,
what do
yeah.
you
because
do?
what's gonna happen if she comes out of this
Right.
and
Yeah.
lives? Like, what's gonna happen to her?
She was on life support for a few days, right?
Yeah.
5 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the family decided
It was more. I can't speak to that
yeah.
exactly. It was more that she was brain dead.
Right.
So, but it was her. They were she had wanted her organs donated,
donated.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why they had to
And
wait.
they needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
make
they had to
sure
wait,
that
and
everything
that all
was-
had to
yeah.
go through. So that's why. And but again, my first call was to her, to Jolie, just to make sure that she was safe herself.
Yeah.
Like, and then also if God forbid she died, which obviously she did.
Right.
Are her kids
Gonna be taken
gonna be
care of,
okay?
they're gonna be
But
okay.
Sure.
but no one knew all these other little things, and
Yeah.
and eventually they did and whatnot. But it was just a really trying time, and no one knew how to process. And also, like, it was so hard for Heather because there was like all business back end stuff,
Right.
and that
when
business is
something like-
business,
when-
she had to protect. It was everyone trying to protect everyone,
Yeah.
even though it got.
Well, for us,
Construed,
when Anna died, everybody kept putting out all these false narratives, horrible stories, talking so much bad stuff about her that
And
we
none of them that had ever met her.
that ever
either.
met her. Like
Right,
a
of
makeup
course.
artist that did her makeup one time, who,
Right, of course,
says
yeah.
this
Didn't
or
even know.
that, and
Yeah.
and then Larry Burkhead, and then the custody battle, and all the crazy stuff going on, and then
Right.
we know physically, personally, from firsthand knowledge, Anna never wanted Larry to be the father and never wanted
Right.
him to have custody. And then when he got custody, it's like, oh my God, your
If
best
she
friend
if she was alive, he would never
Never
have
see that
known
child.
that baby.
ever.
Right.
Ever. And so we're, as the friends, and you as Anne's friend, like how do you deal with that?
How do you navigate
how do you
it?
come up for air and deal with the healing
Well,
part
a lot of it was I left town
Yeah.
because every we're in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And people know
we're
us.
in Beverly Hills.
Oh, you know what I mean? No, but Hollywood meaning everywhere I went in
In town,
town,
yeah.
Sure. That's all they're
everyone
talking
knew,
about.
of course. And
Yeah.
everywhere I went, I mean, people just had their arms out
Yeah.
to hug
course.
me.
Yeah.
And it was I didn't know what to do because I was just so heartbroken. And then I'm just bawling at the grocery store. I walk in anywhere
Yeah.
to get a coffee, and I'm just literally their arms
It's
went out.
emotional. Of
course.
Yes.
And everyone that I had hated for 15 years were calling to beg for forgiveness. You know what I mean? Because they're
course.
like, let's clean this slate now. I'm like, no, bitch, I still hate you. It's just I'm weak now. You know what I mean?
Thanks for the call, but I still hate you.
No, you're still a bitch, but I'm weak, so I'll forgive you. And then, but it cleaned a lot of slates. Let me
Sure.
tell you that. But
Yeah.
just kidding, not really. But it was my very dear friends had just bought a condo on the beach in Long Beach, and I went to Long Beach, and I
Locked
was
the door.
with the
and-
dog.
hit
I was
out,
with the
basically.
dog,
Yeah.
and I ate pizza and had some vodkas every night.
Oh my God, yum.
And talked to friends and cried myself to sleep every night.
Yeah.
And a lot of our mutual friends
Yeah.
and friends from the past that knew her all along the way.
Yeah.
And so interesting. Jonathan Shake, I don't know if you know him. He's a wonderful friend, and his wife's like my sister, and we're all very close. And he was in That Thing You Do. He has a brand new show coming out on the Cowboy Network, actually.
yeah,
And so
so
yeah.
okay, yeah.
We're about to do something with him. I adore him. But he was Ellen's beard
Right.
Oh.
and knew Anne from that period.
Got
And
it.
so, one night I just was dying inside, and he called, and we were all on the phone. It was just so emotional because he was telling me all these beautiful stories from the past. And,
Yeah.
Obviously whenever all of our friends were together, it's a lot, even still.
Sure.
And it was really difficult being an entrepreneur, trying to run your business in the middle of this. And then every day, I'm on the phone screaming at Fox News.
Right.
You think I'm joking?
No, I know.
And then
And
then
Nicole
try-
used to throw bricks,
Yeah, it's like
to the TV.
no, but listen, the Fox News thing, I get it. And I have friends that work over there, and it was also business insider stuff that no one really knows. At the time, they were really pushing the entertainment section of Fox News, and they had just hired everyone over from the Daily Mail. So there were a bunch of Daily Mail people that move over, and we all know what the Daily Mail does.
gossip, yeah.
And so they were really pushing the narrative. And
Hopefully
what
they're talking about me today.
yes, maybe. Maybe.
Yes.
Front page, please.
Exactly. They're talking about your ratings,
The
girl.
coffee cup.
Yes, exactly.
So what we did when Anna died, and then afterwards, I think it was, when did we start? We did the book 6 months after, because we couldn't cope. We did all these interviews, we did everything, and then there was all this stuff going out, and all these people were putting these books out about Anna that didn't even fucking meet her. That, a reporter writes a book about her, and
they weren't really books; they were just narratives
they
they had created in their mind,
Of course.
that then turned into pages that didn't make sense as you followed through. Because you're like, when you start reading garbage, you'll know that person doesn't relate to that other person that passed away, and it's just whatever they're talking about.
So that's why
we
did our
book.
Right.
And we started writing, and it wasn't a book. We started writing because we wanted to put our feelings.
It's almost like a diary.
Sharing our
Of course, I love
memories
that, right.
on paper. Because we thought it'd be a healing process for us to be able to be. And every night we'd get in bed, and instead of watching a new series, we'd just sit there and we'd go, remember the time, blah, blah, blah. Remember the time in the bus. Remember the time
and then we just
when
kept
we
writing
were at the
everything
house.
out.
Oh, I love
And
that.
we wrote different sections of time that had passed in our lives that we, when you're living it, you're not really memorializing it.
Right.
When you're living it, you're not really going back and referencing it.
Right, yeah.
You remember it in some context, but you're in such fast pace and emotion, you don't stop to smell the roses.
Yeah.
So we started doing that, and we would cry every single night.
Yeah.
But there were such beautiful tears, because I'm getting goosebumps now, because you were able to really embody a friend that you really cared about, that you shared so many beautiful moments with, that then it propelled you to be a better person, propelled you to be a loyal friend, propelled you to be a more gracious human to others, because you knew that every single one of our lives was very limited. And the time that we have with each other should be cherished, loved, and acknowledged in such a capacity that you can't take that away. So for all the people, and I think at that point, we started getting soft. You know how when you said you were weak?
Yeah.
We started getting soft because we were like, everybody reached out, and everybody's like apologizing. Everybody's like thinking, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. And some people said, I didn't even know you were friends.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, bitch, did you not see me on her show? Bitch, did you not hear it on the radio when she talked about her best friend and the designer?
But you can't even blame any.
No.
Because we're also ensconced in our own lives.
Yes.
Right.
And it's like, for some of us, it is so much effort to just stay alive and to function. I don't mean that as a joke. Like,
No,
for so many people,
100%.
it is so
To
difficult
survive.
just to keep your life going that they have no capacity to handle anything outside of themselves.
But I also didn't understand until Anna died the impact and the celebrity status she had in the world.
I mean,
like
watching
wherever we went in the world, people knew Anna and Nicole knew we were. Every time when we did the Netflix people come up to us. We saw you in the Netflix documentary about Anna and Nicole. We still get told, "Oh, Larry King." We saw you in Larry King over and over again.
If you want to laugh, yesterday I had lunch with a friend and I was showing them the black and whites. Another best friend. And so, no, you wouldn't know him. And he was like, I just saw them on the Anna Nicole Smith documentary 2 days ago. And I was like, you did? And I was like, oh, yeah. Like they were, they came to my Oscar retreat.
Yep.
And I was telling them about you, and I was like, they're so fun and just fabulous, and what we had talked about before. And I was like, I think that, but I do have a theory that, and I say this all the time, and I did another podcast actually.
Okay.
not as good as this one, clearly.
Clearly not the number
Not
one
as
fashion
good as this
podcast
one,
in the
I
world.
know, exactly.
Undressed with Paul and Patrick.
Yeah,
I know,
undressed bitches.
Don't forget. But I did this podcast, and this man, white, cis, straight man, says
love
to
it.
me, "You're like, oh,
Yeah,
I know."
tell me
He's
more.
like, "Well, hold on, that podcast just got a lot better." No, and he said to me, he said, "Oh, you are probably like me, a black sheep."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh no, I am not a black sheep. I never was, and neither were you. We're unicorns.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
because you don't know how special we are doesn't mean we're not."
I love that.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I always say, and I have so many friends in similar situations that bang their head up against the wall, accomplished people, like Emmy winners.
Can
all
I
these-
raise my hand to that?
Yes, of course. But it was what we were talking about off
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah.
So many people that don't feel seen because they're so unique,
Yeah.
and that the masses don't get it.
Yeah.
Because
And I
they
said-
don't know how to categorize
That's true.
you.
Exactly, but hold on. I have more of a theory on that. But what needs to happen is, and what my goal is
Yeah.
for everything I'm doing with gurus and my entire life philosophy, is that when we all get together,
Yes.
strength. Because
I love that.
instead of us always be the Lone Ranger per se,
Yeah. Yeah.
Unify.
that
Bring
come
everyone
together, that because people will ask me, "How are you friends with this person?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, because they're a unicorn. If you haven't noticed, I don't need, like, hello, and it's like,
Yeah.
but when we all come together, we have more strength.
Strength in numbers.
And because you'll know 100 unicorns.
Right.
They'll know all these people. And so,
Sure.
and it's like, and Hollywood is made up of that because this is such a difficult town
oh yeah.
Yes.
to maneuver in at
Oh, yeah.
all,
Yeah, of course.
And so when everyone comes together, we have a lot of power. It's just that so many of us feel like we don't belong, so we put
To
up a
just put
shell,
up a
and then
shell.
we really learn to be more independent as opposed to coming together. And what's so important for me, and what you've really witnessed and you're seeing me do, is that I want to create a community
Yeah.
where we all
Thrive.
can thrive,
Yeah.
and that's what's so important to me.
Did it change? Because I think I speak for myself, and I'm sure Paul will agree with me. After Anne and Nicole died, our lives changed completely. Like it was such a huge
devastating.
momentum thing that happened in our life that it totally
In our
changed.
adult life as
Right.
we know it, when
Do you
lose
feel
a
the same
friend.
thing after you lost Anne Heche, that your life just took a total, like it was a big significant?
It did. You know what? I have to say, so much growth.
Yeah.
And even though, I loved having her here, I would do anything to bring her back. I felt like she's protecting me and giving me so much wisdom and guidance now because of what I went through with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
those were situations, and that's grief I've never had to go through
Sure.
at that level.
Sure.
Because we had connected at a level that besides a family member, but that's a much different thing, you know?
Of course.
But when you have a chosen family member,
Right.
that's another form of bond that you don't have.
Right.
Like, that's just a different thing. And,
Yeah.
and that was a devastation, and so when you experience something like that, you there's no other way. You grow.
Yeah.
Or you
Well,
don't at all.
Yeah.
So it was like, and I believe that every horrible thing happens for you to grow from.
Will you ever write a book?
They've been asking me to write a book since I was 18 years old, because I've got about 5 books. You know what I mean?
Volume 1, volume 2.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I do magazines. That's why, I love being a storyteller and telling other stories.
Yep.
I just, I do a lot of speaking things.
Yeah.
And so I try to distill my wisdom that way,
Okay.
Never say never.
Yeah.
I have so much more to do as,
I mean, going back to what you were saying earlier, when people always say, well, how do you know that person? Or how do you get along with that person? Or how do you see yourself being friends with
Yeah.
that person?
Right.
And it's interesting because you get to see, like I do, I think. We're very much alike in that capacity. We get to see past the bullshit that they're trying to put in front of us.
And there's so much bullshit.
And get to know the real human behind it. Because in the world I come from, I mean, I've been established designer for over 30 years, part of American history. And then when I got the call for Anna Nicole, everybody said to me, but Anna Nicole, that's so beneath you. Like, you're part of American history. You've risen to the creme de la creme of what designers aspire for.
Yeah.
And I looked at them, and after a pause, I thought to myself, I'm a designer, not a judge. And I'm not judging that human because I love to design clothes for all kinds of women.
Right.
And if she needs my help or she is entertaining for me to be present for her, I want to be there for her because I didn't sign up to judge their personalities or characteristics before I decided that I want to design clothing for them. Because all humans, to me, are beautiful in every color shade, you know, or whatever's going on.
You know,
and we got along great.
You're a businessman.
Yeah.
You have a business to run.
Right.
She got eyeballs at a time with no social media.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to do it. I mean, why? That's silly.
Well, but besides the fact that I was a little gay boy falling in love
of
with
course.
her, going, oh my God,
come
it's
on
Anna
now.
Nicole.
Like, I mean, let's keep it real. You know, listen, people can judge all day until you win.
It's true.
I tell everyone the same thing. You know, it's like I always talk to everyone, and they always got something to say, honey, until you have your first win. And then they knew it all along. You were going to hate. I was like, sit down.
Exactly.
First of all, you don't know shit.
You're not on the list, bitch.
Like, you don't know shit. You know, you're poo until you hate. And then they're like, well, I told you. I've been behind you the whole time. I was like, no, bitch, you've been behind me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kicking me.
Exactly. You've been behind.
Stabbing
That's the
me.
operative word.
I want to switch gears because I know you did stuff for the House of Darion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Beyonce, how was that? And how did that happen?
So let me tell you the full story. So there's been so much stuff around it. So the House of Darion came about because the photographer I was working with a lot at the time. I've been a magazine editor or working with magazines since my early 20s, and we are not in our early 20s anymore.
No, you're celebrating a big birthday this year.
I am. I turned 50 in July.
Woo, I can't wait.
Know,
I don't even know what that's like.
I know, polar opposite.
Yeah.
You know, I will say that what was not funny but very ironic was that when Anne died, I had never really let people in.
Yeah.
Like on a platform per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because all the television I had always done was very much high.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Orchestrated.
So.
And structured.
Yeah, because that was the job, you know. And I don't go online and go off on people. Like, that's not for me.
Yeah.
And I'm very live and let live. Like, mind my business. Like, honey, I got too much to do. Like, I can't be bothered about all your mess. Like, you know what I mean? And because I don't want you talking about me. So, in that way. And so I was just wanting to protect and also honor. And I had never done that really before.
Yeah.
And so I think that humanized me for a lot of people, and it changed the perception a lot. And that was a huge shift.
Sure.
Obviously, in my personal life, offline, it was a big shift because of what had happened.
Chaos.
Like, really in my life. But I got more people reaching out because they were like, oh, my God.
I feel for you.
But also in a way, like, thank you for protecting.
Yes.
Because everyone was attacking so much.
We know.
And
Anna and Nicole,
yeah,
same
no,
thing.
exactly.
Same
you know,
thing.
and I think it was really special for her fans.
Yeah.
Because none of the family spoke.
Right.
Yeah.
And Heather couldn't.
Yeah.
Because of
The business.
behind the scenes
Absolutely.
things. And so I was the only one that could really say anything that actually knew her.
Yeah.
And that was
meaningful
difficult,
too at the
but
same
it was
time.
also meaningful for her fan base, other friends, and just like letting people know that we loved her.
Yep.
And I would talk about our friends
Yeah.
loving her, where it wasn't just, it wasn't just me.
Right.
It was like her chosen family
Yeah.
love her, and she wasn't what you're saying she was.
Yeah.
Because we all were surrounded, and what was really hurtful was that, even friends that she gave a lot of credit to that were not in our friend group, but very famous people
Yes.
that she would give a lot of credit to in the past, said things that were really, it was a little painful.
Yeah.
And
Just because it was like, oh, well, I don't know who she's surrounded by.
Right.
My mom used to have another saying, not the forehead. There's another saying, when someone passes away, you're supposed to allow 40 days of people coming to your home, allowing them, even strangers,
Right.
alongside enemies, alongside your best friends. Your entire responsibility then becomes don't say anything, don't hear anything,
Right.
and don't see anything,
Right.
which means you're going to see a lot, you're going to hear a lot, you're going to
Right.
want to say a lot, but
Right.
don't.
Right.
And in that time, you get to really recognize the importance of life. You get to recognize who your friends are,
Yeah.
who you're true,
Yeah,
committed,
That's-
dedicated,
for sure.
and you know,
Yes.
people that you really want to surround yourself with moving forward from that kind of trauma, because you know they're there just for you. They're there because of you.
Right.
They're not there because they want to, have the other person see them. They don't want to come into that arena because they couldn't get an appointment at the studio with them, and then they
Yeah.
know they're going to be at the funeral trying to
Right.
shake hands and negotiate a deal. They're there for you.
Right.
And I think when you go through something like this, only you understand how it feels. And then you live with what you did and the respect that you have for yourself to know that you can only hope that other people can understand the pain that you went through.
Right.
It's so important.
1,000%.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's so difficult. And like I said all along, it's like I don't want to speak for her family, and I don't want to speak, I'm just talking about my own personal experiences,
Right.
Because we all have different experiences. Like I can't, like she had a 13-year-old son,
I
like
know.
and like
How many years has it been now? 5?
no,
No.
4?
more than
No,
two.
wait.
2.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
nothing.
only
It's
2
been
years.
nothing.
Yeah, it was right after,
It was
like just when things started opening up
COVID,
from
right?
COVID.
When COVID was
yeah,
just
no,
ending.
it was
Wow.
just
Sort
it
of
was
like
not long
that.
ago. I know.
Wow.
No, it was not long. It would 2 years in August coming
Wow.
up. No, it's not even 2 years. Yeah.
Very
That's,
sad.
that's harsh.
It was
Very difficult.
yeah, so it hasn't even been that long. You know,
Yeah.
so that's why it's
You know
still
what? For
so
Anna and Nicole, it's been 18 years,
16.
16 years,
wow.
and there's not a day that I don't miss her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain part of you that's so connected that,
Well, it's also the trauma lives
Of
within you
course.
going
Yeah.
through that
yeah,
on top of it, And so, because I've had other friends that I felt were similar situations, and also through this were very much aware that
Yeah.
they could be in a similar situation, and we've separated, and which is sad,
Right.
because they couldn't handle our friendship or whatnot. But
Yeah.
it's really it's so different because of the real trauma of not being able to say goodbye and all these other things. So yeah, it's really hard.
And it will. I mean, it's going to be with you for 16 years later, and we're still thinking of Anna
of course.
every day.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's with you every day, just like you were there for her every single day.
Yep.
And that never stops. That bond
Yeah.
is never broken. That tether is never. The string is always
Yeah, it's hard
there.
to explain that kind of bond. It was just, again, unicorn, and
Yeah.
like it wasn't even that we were friends for 10 years. Like it was,
But it
wasn't-
was an intimate friendship.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
yeah.
closeness. It was.
we
you
saw
know,
each
sometimes
other.
sometimes you just meet somebody for the very first time and you bond with them so quickly, and you
Yeah.
know they're like
Yeah.
someone that you really can connect with. And some people you can know for 100 years and you still don't know who they are.
You know, I felt a lot of the connection was also that we had gone through so many of the same abuses.
Yeah.
You know, and when you
50 years old, you're going to have to put it past you. And from now on,
for sure,
I want you to walk forward, never looking back.
Yeah. No,
never looking backward.
For sure. But, you know, we all kind of find each other. You
Sure.
know? And it's funny because that's how I've met a lot of people that have become close because of, you know, we're like, you see each other through the room.
Well, once you change the frequency and you get rid of some of the ones that are just not necessarily need to be there, you open up the frequency to be able to allow all the right people with the right energy to be able to occupy space that deserve to be there. That you know there's a harmony and a unity and a bond that you can cultivate a relationship with moving forward.
For sure.
But we love you, Derek. We love you very much.
Right, exactly. But you know what? I knew young that I was a late bloomer. Mm-hmm. I've always been a late bloomer. Yeah. And you know what? If you don't have things to look forward to, what's the point?
The yacht, G5. I mean, I'm looking forward to this stuff.
But you know, I've had an insane life already. Yeah. And it's been phenomenal. And I keep telling myself, it's like, wow. Look what else you have to look forward to. I've done so many of these things already, you know, and
what was it like working with Queen Bee?
She was so wonderful. Yeah. But I worked with Ty because Ty was really the stylist there. And then they brought me in under the stipulation. I did it for free because this is another thing. And this is my thing at schools. Yeah. Every time I speak at a school, when do I stop working for free? I was like, honey, I work for free every day.
Every day.
Still do.
That is part of being an entrepreneur. You work for free, period. I have friends all last week. They were like, I couldn't even take a paycheck. And I was like, well, join the club. You know what I mean? So
honey, if you look at our paychecks, we make 50 cents an hour.
Thank you.
If you break it down, it's 50 cents an hour. We're not even at minimum wage.
But it's the experience you have working for Beyonce and the House of Derek. That's pretty amazing.
But what people don't realize is that accolades bring the next accolade, which really gives you the credibility. And this business is built on credibility. And so I did it because I was in Miami. Mm-hmm.
I'm in Miami, bitch.
At that time, actually. At that time, it was like 2000, 2001, whatever. Yeah. And there was an opportunity, work for free, build her grandmother's living room. Yeah. This is true. This is all true. Wow. And so I designed the living room. Okay. And they were like, and so you can have some sort of credit, like clothing-wise. Sure. You can bring jewelry.
Okay. I love that.
And so I did. And I had the best time. I see Tina occasionally, and we still talk about it. Yeah. She's lovely.
We've met Tina. We met her father as well. You know, that's a whole other
story.
I did a bustier cover for her.
Yeah. Yes. Well, he lives in Houston again.
Right, Texas, yeah.
And the last time I saw him, yes, it was interesting for sure. Yeah, he ran over to me at a restaurant, and he's like going on, and I go, you know, I know you already. Like, you know what I mean? And I was like, what's happening?
Yeah. Starts with the shaking
It was
of
interesting.
the hand.
Oh, yes. He goes out like, and I was like,
well, an interesting
calm the
thing,
hustle.
Solange,
fabulous.
the other daughter.
Yeah.
When I was a casting director, I was the casting director for LA Gear. It wasn't a fantasy, and I put her in that commercial.
Amazing. Wow.
That was God knows how many years ago.
You know, I remember like something
remember LA Gear? Now they don't even have it anymore.
Of course. Remember something I said years ago went viral, like on TMZ or something. It was like, because when I had met them, it was like Beyonce holds everything to go out to do the job. Yeah. Where Solange is way more colorful and more like a diva on a daily basis. And I said something, and that was like, I was like, is this a headline? Like, no, but just, which makes sense, you know, and like, no, but Beyonce's, she was so lovely, and we have so many mutuals, and, you know, and the Ty, I adore Ty, like, who was famously her stylist for years and years and years. He's so talented. He's kind.
What
every
a great
time we text.
Right? The friendships that you have.
I have the most beautiful. Yeah. Because number one, don't be the best, be the only. Yep. No one's competition.
I love that.
I would never take anything away from anyone.
Yeah.
I don't take anything away from anyone. And I give everyone their accolades.
Sure.
I was like, come be in the magazine. Come do this, come do that. Like, I adore you. And you are a talent.
Yep.
And I want to tell beautiful stories about talented, unbelievable people.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Who
my
is
job.
I know you deal with tons, like us, we do too. Tons of celebrities every day. Who's the worst celebrity you ever worked with?
Oh, yeah.
That you'll
that's
never
a good
work
one.
with again.
Yeah, you're like, you know what, bitch? Get out. Yeah.
Okay,
Or a
usually,
guy.
no, but you also know, like, we're so the people that the girls love.
Yeah.
So,
We don't have that issue. I know, I get it.
yeah, you know, it's not like, I'm trying to think of somebody
It's
that was
not that
difficult.
they're horrible or difficult. Maybe they were going through something at the moment and they felt comfortable to be able to just be themselves.
I do have a story.
Okay.
It was years ago, and it was at the Sofitel here. It was before I even moved here, and it was,
Okay.
I forget her name now.
Which is the Sofitel Hotel up the street.
Yes.
Right, the Beverly
But
Center.
it was, she was, I could tell she was a good person. It was just, I get why she was doing what she was doing.
Yep.
But she was in Orange is the New Black, but she was also in the 70s show.
Laverne
with
Cox?
No, with the
No.
red hair. Oh, I've
the
known
red
Laverne
hair.
when she
Oh,
was
the
a
girl from
waitress.
she played Donna
Yes.
on that
Donna.
70s
Yes, her.
show. What's her name? Oh my gosh.
No, I can't remember her name.
Can you guys look that? Look,
The
they're gonna look that-
producers are
they're
looking
gonna
it
look
up
for
right
us.
now.
Donna on that 70s show.
Yep.
And
And she had long red hair, and
Yes.
then she had dark hair on Orange is the New Black. Right.
And she was she was a prisoner, right? On Orange is the New Black. I think she was a prisoner.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was a prisoner. Yes.
And I've heard that a few times that she's not the nicest person. Yes. Laura
Prepon.
Prepon. Yes.
Okay, so she was not having a day.
Okay.
And also, what she didn't know is that I had gone to Bergdorf Goodman and bought everything for her.
Oh.
And she was not a sample size.
Okay. I get it.
And so she was
What is a sample size?
freaking.
It's
No,
like
but
a
she
size,
was,
bitch.
a
she was
size
very
14.
Much, she was very much. I could tell she just had a lot of bad experiences.
yeah.
That everyone's bringing a size 2.
Yeah.
And
She felt
I get it.
uncomfortable.
And also I was like,
So wait,
look,
you brought her a 12?
yes.
Everyone's bringing her a 2 and you bring her
No,
a
but
12.
but
But she's a 12. She was going
But
to
I
fit a 12.
love that
Yeah.
you see her and you bring her the right
Of course.
size.
Listen,
What happened
I built
when
my
she-
career
Yeah.
on body types.
Of course.
I had clients that were 70 years old but could pay full rate. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And then I had clients that were 2s that couldn't pay at all.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like I had to be good at it, but that's why I had
You
a
were
successful
flexible.
career.
So did she hate the fact that you brought her a 12?
No, not at all. But
Okay.
she just kept thinking all these stylists and all these stylists and all these stylists. And
Yeah.
I was like, honey,
Just
I
try
brought
them
you
on.
size. Like, I went and
try it
bought it
on.
all, but she didn't know that. So then she calmed down, and then she could tell I was really pissed.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What happened? I'll handle it." And I was like,
You're like, bitch, it's you.
and I just said, I turned to her because this is what I mean about like no bullshit. And I
Yeah.
said, "Could you just do your job so we can get out of here? Put the clothes on, smile, take the picture so we can go."
I love it.
Because I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you are being so extra for no reason.
Yeah.
Because I told you already, I bought everything. Everything is your size.
Right.
We're good.
Yeah.
And I made sure it stretched, or I checked every single thing. I measured it.
Yeah.
I do this.
Yeah. Of
But
course.
she didn't know me. It was the first time. And so, you know, and then was sweet.
So
for
she
the rest
calmed
of
down
the
after
time.
you told her off. I
It was
love
just a lot of bad experiences.
But
and I
it's
get
good
it,
that
you know?
you, like Paul, you will tell them. You won't let them you won't let them walk
Sometimes
over
you just got to know.
Yeah.
Because I like to know. Like, if I'm doing something, you know, in the beginning of my career, everyone's like, "Oh, you're great, you're great, you're great." And I
Yeah.
was like, that doesn't do shit.
What am I great at?
I'm
What
not
is
going
the
to
great?
get,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to be any better.
Right.
Because that's now years of now. I was like, can you just, like, when I was a makeup artist, especially.
Yeah.
Or, like, either say too many accessories, too heavy.
Identify
like
it.
something.
Ident-
What is going on?
Yeah.
And then I can work on it and then get better. But people can't do that. They have
No.
this innate thing. Oh, I have to be nice. No, you don't. Just handle it.
Yep.
I just Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's
Tell me
move
why
on.
you don't like me if you don't, because I know you do, and you're just hiding why you don't. Because it's not my
it's a
problem,
waste of
it's
time.
yours.
I think it's insulting.
Yep.
And it's a waste of time.
100%.
Because I tell the truth, which is respect.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's it.
Another celebrity you worked with who's a friend of ours as well.
I have friends.
You do. And you put beautiful, beautiful gowns on her.
I do.
Annalyn McCord.
Yes.
And she gets such a bad rap that she's crazy, she's this, she's that. What
She's
what
on
do you
TV.
like?
She's got to be a little crazy.
I love her. I think she's fun as fuck.
You know, I've only had good experiences with her.
Right?
She did. So I became a partner. Years ago, an old manager of mine called. It was, I mean, literally, I might have been a month in LA.
Okay.
And he's like, there's an opportunity.
Yep.
If you help this magazine, they'll put you on the cover. And it was a national magazine, like international, actually. It was called The Palm. And Kevin and I had a great relationship for a really long time. We were in it this week, actually. He very kindly ran our story, which was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for him. It's not an easy business.
Yeah.
And printing internationally, you know how
Printing a
much
magazine
that is.
in general,
it's just
yeah.
a nightmare. That's why I don't do it.
Yep.
I was like, no thanks. Because there were a lot of hungry months.
Oh, yeah.
When there wasn't enough to print. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, you know, again, so much respect for him and keeping that going. And, you know, so when I did the cover and then we decided that we were going to be business partners, I came in and we were like, okay, we're going to really change this. So half of the magazine became men's and then you flipped it over and the other half was women's.
Yeah, I love that.
Sideways.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And then she was our first side on the women's.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice.
she looked gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah.
And she came to the party. We had so
She's
much
flawless.
fun. She's great. I love her sister.
Yeah,
Who
Rachel.
Who just had heart
Rachel.
surgery.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know if you
know.
saw that.
Yeah.
Bless
I
her
know.
heart. She has so much faith and she's
Yeah.
very.
She's coming on our show, Rachel.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Oh,
love
she's
her.
amazing. I
Yeah.
love her. But
Really sweet.
they're both good girls, you
Yeah.
know. And I mean, the work she does for sex trafficking. That's
Yeah.
how I actually originally met Annalyn. Was at an event for sex trafficking.
At SLS.
Yes.
That we were at the same event.
No.
Yes.
She was a little shocking on stage, and I go, okay, well, there's that girl.
It's the
Hey,
truth.
Yeah. I remember
she
that.
was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. Yep. But she took a liking to my assistant,
Okay.
and then they became buddies. And I was like, hey, ask her if she wants to do our first cover. And she said, yeah.
Love it.
Like, I mean, it's that easy sometimes. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes it's not.
It's really, but it's all about relationships. I think.
100.
I mean,
Yeah, but plus you have a great reputation and the
Thank you.
loyalty that you have with the
Yes.
relationships that you have
Thank
built.
you.
I mean, some people wonder how we're together for 21 years now, 20 and a half.
21 in July.
And they don't understand the loyalty that we have for each other, the respect that we have for each
Yeah.
other, which is what we extend to our extended families and community at large. Because we respect, appreciate every single person that celebrates us. And when it's time to celebrate them, we want to make sure we're there to celebrate
100%,
their
right.
accomplishments as well,
Yeah.
because it's a mutual relationship. It's mutual respect, and everyone has space. So you could be good today. You may be great tomorrow. You may be shit the next day, but
Right,
doesn't
right.
mean I lose interest in the human
Right,
that
yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
So it extends, and she's one of those people.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I
Showcase this bitch.
Are you ready for your coffee read? So Armenian coffee reading is really exciting because this is a thing that Paul's been doing as long as I've known him, 20 years, 21 plus years, almost 21. You've been drinking your coffee throughout our episode, and now you've got grinds in the bottom of your cup, and Paul is going to look into your cup and tell you what he
Derek.
sees.
Are you giving me a read or a read?
Both.
A read.
Derek, I'm going to start by saying that you have such a beautiful orbit about you.
Thank you.
Okay? So you've got this glow. But there was a point in your life when something happened, a trauma, that stopped everything you were doing, everything you know, everything you wanted to be able to accomplish, and it was dead. And then at that point, for a minute, you realize, wait a minute. What am I going to do moving forward? You changed your direction, you changed your perspective, and then you started living a healthier way, a more balanced life moving forward, but that trauma is still with you. That's in the back of your head that you're still hanging on to. And sometimes it creeps up and you almost want to curl up into a ball and go to the bedroom and just cover up and not answer the door, not answer the phone. And you're thinking to yourself, fuck, not
And
today.
you're shaking your head, so I feel like you know what he's talking about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
What was that point? Because you were, in a way,
I was like, Monday morning.
but you were
Monday morning.
you were doing so good, but then it just crashed.
That's happened a couple times in my life, I think. Just different things.
Yeah.
I feel like I love my family, and I never complained about homelessness, abuse, all things that happen, but I never really complained about it. But now I've certainly recognized things that I wish that had happened that I hadn't even addressed.
Yeah.
It's like I wish I had been taught how to manage money better. I wish I had been taught how to deal with things emotionally better. I wish I had been taught, all these different things.
Sure.
And I talked to my stepmom about it, who I call mom, and she's been in my life since, God, I mean, I was
Forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe 8, 9, 10 years old.
She's here, or
And
she's in?
She's in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yeah,
Okay.
where
That's
I
where you're
grew
from.
up.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And and I had said to her, and I was like, despite everything, and I've healed so much, and but I kind of went through a list of things, and she's like, well, we can't go backwards, we can only move forward, and you've healed from all these things already, so it's just more healing. And I was like, in which we talk about that for her too, and we talk about
How it
and it was
to her.
just like, it's like, but even different things that, like, personal judgments and self-esteem stuff and whatever, and it's like you just get to a point where you have to make a decision for yourself about who you are,
Sure.
what you're going to be, what you're going to accept, and how you're going to feel, because the only person controlling your own feelings is yourself.
And you have
You
one
know.
life to live.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
But once you made that switch, I think you started seeing everything through a different lens. You started organizing and compartmentalizing it differently moving forward in your life. But when I'm looking at the other side, though, something haunts you still when it comes to job and working. Something, like, you have nightmares over this. I can't imagine that you wake up in the middle of the night and you're cold sweat and you're like gasping for air because something is still troubling you that you haven't been able to just resolve for yourself.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I work constantly, you know, on one thing or the other, and it's just always because I think that I just keep pushing forward so much, and I feel like no matter how much I push forward, it doesn't click. And even though I know the success I've gotten,
Sure.
but I still, I always explain it this way with everyone because I get questioned about it all the time because I know so many people and my community that knows where I come from. They're like,
Sure.
oh my God, I mean, it was a homeless teen to where I've come.
Yeah.
But I was like, but I know what I'm going to be still.
Of course.
Sure.
I believe that I will be working until I'll be 80 years old. That's 30 more years. I mean,
Right.
and my momentum, what I was saying, like, I'm a late bloomer.
Mm-hmm.
My momentum is just really hitting now, because now I'm good at it all.
Right.
Now I'm
You
good
learn
at it.
from your lessons.
You've
You've learned from your mistakes.
I can produce. I'm a personality. I can host. Like, I've got all these things, and now it's all
like coming together.
Because when I was younger and I started my career at 20 or 18, actually,
wow,
I was here. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
But what no one realized for someone like me is you take all of this and you learn.
Sure.
So all of that knowledge,
The experiences.
and balance,
Yep.
has come this way. And now as it comes together, I have so many skills. And then I'm like, what needs to happen?
Yeah.
It will happen. Hence why I'm able to do what I can do with not a lot of staff. Like I can make huge. Hello, you were just at something, you know.
Yeah,
and
of course.
That was, like,
it was an amazing event,
but
beautiful event.
Hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And until 2 weeks before, I was alone.
Wow.
And when I'm telling you, studying who wants to come, because I did that to broaden our community.
Sure.
Because I wanted all new people, because you have to keep, and this is Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's who you know only.
Pretty much.
And your reputation.
Pretty much.
Because once you have that community, that builds, and then everything happens for you, you know? And so I'm so close to the explosion.
Yeah.
But now I'm ready for the explosion because I'm so good at so many things.
Yeah.
Not the IP address, but I'm so good at so many things.
Neither is Paul.
But then I can manage it.
Yeah.
And that's it's management. That's everything, you know.
I love that.
The one thing, just because of the explosion, I was about to tell you that there's something that you've been waiting for, and that something, that explosion, is right at your front door now. Because you're at a place where there's so much love and so much heart that it's all kind of built together now to be able to just be exactly what it needs to be. It's like as if you're waking up Christmas morning and you kind of know what's under the tree, but you really don't know because it's wrapped. But you kind of know what's inside because you asked for it and you're not sure if you were going to get it.
Yeah.
And then you go sit under the tree and you start busting, and the excitement and the exuberance that you have inside you all of a sudden starts settling because you're like, oh,
we're here.
This is what.
Yeah.
This is it.
That's a good feeling. That's a really good feeling.
And that's right at your front door now.
I love
with
that.
the beauty and everything that you've cultivated.
I really feel that is.
This podcast is brought to you by Heartfelt Media, directed by Television. Executive producers are Pol Atteu. So you never miss an episode.